Peace, y'all. Let me first say this, y'all. Look at God's garden. I mean, just look. I used to be overwhelmed by the weeds until I realized the weeds are going to grow, but so are the flowers. You know what I'm saying? So I can see past all that. My cannas are coming back from last year. A few of my other little flowers. So, y'all, I'm so excited. But yeah, that's God's garden. So today I want to talk to you. I'm here at the cafe. I was reading a book, and I was also listening to my lectures, and the combination of those, I don't know. The Maidens, it's something that's, I'm not really into thrillers, but there's a girl I go to the gym with, and she's an avid reader. So I just asked her, what are you reading? And she told me what she was reading. So I got it, and I've been out here reading. So far, so good. So far, so good. But then I took a break from the reading to listen to my lectures, y'all. And I got some notes, and I want to have a discussion. And I want to get this little piece. Talk to Brian about that. It's probably urban contemporary. Okay. All right. Y'all got to just jump right in, because if I don't, I'll talk myself out of it. It doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. So I'm able to do it now with less anxiety. But it's never easy to do something that you are scared to do, or you don't know what the outcome is going to be like. But you just got to do it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so that was my lecture I was listening to today. I was listening to so many. I think this one was Neville Goddard. Okay. And so just a couple notes that I took. Now, you all, I don't know, you know my story, but a lot of who I am is because of who my father is. And I remember when we were growing up, he told me that, he said he had to go to church 8 days a week. And so he knew that when he had children, he was not going to make them go to church. And then, you know, the picture of white Jesus in his mom's house bothered him. And I think a lot of our grandparents had that picture up. But he just said, I'm not going to tell my children that, you know, there's a God outside of them that does not look like them. So my dad was very militant. But I enjoyed the combination. He was going to the mosque for a little while, but my mom refused to wear her head wrap. So we were never officially Muslims. But we have these African names, and they're also Islamic names as a result of his studying and his learning at the mosque. So anyway, my dad was quite militant. And so as a result, guys, we didn't go to church. I didn't go to church. I went a couple times with my neighbor across the street, or we went dressed up. Somebody took us somewhere for Easter. I just knew whatever, but never went to church. And I'm going to just track once real quick to tell you this story, and I'll tell you the reason why I'm telling you this story the next time. But my dad only whooped me one time in my life, just once in my life, and it was after I got back from church. So I'm still a little confused as to what happened for him to whoop me, but I'll tell you why later. So anyway, so listen to Neville Goddard. This is what he said. He's like, there's a part that God says, and the word became flesh and dwelt among us, right? So Neville Goddard says that the word among is actually a Greek preposition, so it should be within and not among. So that was a mistranslation. So if I write it the way that Neville Goddard is suggesting that it should have been translated according to the Greek preposition, it would say, the word became flesh and dwelt within us. Within us. Okay, so let's stay with that. Okay, let's stay with that. Now, here's one thing, again, that I know if you go to church, if you go to the temple, if you go to the mosque, if you go wherever, does not have to be written or anything like that. But the truth is, we all know that with God, all things are possible. Okay, so with God, all things are possible. Not the easy things, not the things that you want to do, not the things that don't challenge you. All things are possible. So that leaves out nothing. If all things are possible, that means there is nothing that is not possible. We got to agree on that, right? Okay. So that was in Matthew. Okay. With God, all things are possible. Okay. And then Mark says, all things are possible to him who believeth. Okay. And John talks about, again, the word became flesh and dwelt within us, that God used the preposition within us All things are possible with God. All things are possible to man who believeth, and there is nowhere that God is not. So I'm going to stop right there just for 1 second. Because this spirit just comes over me and I just get so elated. I get excited. I get filled with joy and love and all these beautiful emotions. And sometimes, everything needs an outlet. You know what I'm saying? So I just can scream. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I shake. It just depends. But like I tell my children, even on the days when you can't be happy, you can always be grateful, right? You can always be grateful. So I'm going to put that away. And let's just deal with that for a second. Okay. There is nowhere that God is not. There is nowhere that God is not. That means that God is here. God is here. God is here. God is here. God is out there. God is up here. God is over there. God is over there. And God is here. Okay? The Word became flesh and dwelt within us. There we go again. Dwelt within us. If there is nowhere that God is not, then within us constitutes a place where God is, right? And then it's been said that God dwelt within us, so we got confirmation twice, okay? There is nowhere that God is not, and God, the Word of God, became flesh and dwelt within us. Okay. All things are possible. Whew. With God, all things are possible. Well, if God is within me and there is nowhere that God is not, and with God all things are possible, anywhere I am, God is with me. I'm taking God with me. So what is it that I could not do if God was with me every time I wanted to do something? Dang, like nothing. That's deep. That's dope. There is nowhere that God is not. The Word became flesh and dwelt within us. With God, all things are possible, and all things are possible to he who believeth so, to she who believeth so. So look, guys, that's a whole lot of stuff going on. Let's say I don't believe it, but I believe that with God, all things are possible, but I don't believe that God is dwelling within me. It doesn't matter. You still believe all things are possible, and if you believe all things are possible, then all things are possible. If you know all things are possible, you know the Word of God became flesh and dwells within you. You know that there is nowhere God is not. You know that with God all things are possible. You know that all things are possible to she that believeth. And you also know that as a woman thinketh, so shall she be. Y'all, all of this information, sometimes it overwhelms me. And I get this feeling of, it's a euphoric feeling. And we know euphoria, one of the beautiful things about euphoria is because it's so ephemeral. But that's also one of the things that we miss about it. You know what I'm saying? But just to experience that. And it's like, wow. So then what am I going to do now? And so a lot of times it appears from the outside and from within that I need things to do, okay? That I need things to do. My son says I have anxiety, and my cousin says I always need a project. And if it's not a man, then it's a building. If it's not a building, it's a porch. Not a porch, it's a school. Not a school. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? So I think that might be true. I am learning how to relax, but I don't know. I don't know why it's such a struggle for me. You know, I read every day. I go to the gym every day, do my yoga, my meditation every day. I come up here to the garden pretty much every day. I get home swinging my hammock pretty much every day. But it's that in-between part. I'm going to also go do a deck real quick. And I'm also going to go get on the roof and fix some roof tiles. Now, I'm also going to start something else. But I think for me, that's how I prove that God is real. Again, we didn't go to church, so we were not raised Christians. I didn't hear anything about even God until I was actually in 7th grade. I mean, I knew little stuff, but Mr. King was my 7th grade social studies teacher. He went around and asked everybody what was their religious affiliation. And I'm looking like, I have never heard this. They be like, Baptist, Methodist. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is all that? So he came to me, I said, Baptist, or whatever the person in front of me or two people in front of me had just said, so it wouldn't appear that I was stealing someone's answer. So I went home, got the encyclopedia. Who is God? Who is the Lord? Who is Jesus? What is the affiliation? I said, Mama, wait a minute. Who is God and who is the Lord? And she was just like, Jamila, go see your daddy. And so I went to my father and I talked to him about all of that and about his experiences and how it was for him growing up, because people are amazed when I tell them that no, we never went to church, never ate pork. So we got these African names that had meaning. So my dad gave us a hella dope start as far as our ability to be able to see ourselves outside of any affiliation and then make a determination what's best for us. And I can't thank him enough. So I studied with the 5%ers. I have gone to with the Hebrew Israelites. I have gone to the mosque several times, done the training classes. For me, what it was is that every mention of God had a masculine identity to it, or had to use the pronoun he. And as much as I love my father, I'm telling you, as much as I love my father and I understand and I get it, there is something so divine about femininity, about Mother Nature, about giving birth, about having breasts, about having a womb, about carrying life. Like, I could not accept anything that left out the feminine presence of God. God didn't do it. What did your boy say? Hold on, what your boy say? John said, the plural us. Let us make man in our image. Us. It's only two, either it's male or female, with we understand whatever. But really, it's either this or that. It is or it isn't. Period. And so us, if we are divine reflections of what that is, and us we know to be plural, and the only two we have are masculine and feminine, come on, we're gonna have to won't she do it? You know what I'm saying? So won't she do it? So that's one of my little things. But yeah, so my dad's background is what gave us our understanding to figure out, what we want to do. Oh wait, a word from our sponsor. I'm not even really an Earl Grey tea drinker. I'm not. For me, Earl Grey is like an authentic tea. If you drink tea, you like Earl Grey. But I played around with it just a little bit. I got the mint plant that we have growing. So I took the Earl Grey tea, I put some strawberries, I put some fresh mint, and I squeezed a little lime on there. And when I tell you it's absolutely delicious, you can still taste the Earl Grey-ishness in it, but it's the bomb. So that's a word from my sponsor, SereniTea Garden Cafe. Did all that. And so again, I just felt like there should be a feminine understanding or a feminine presence or a feminine something. Because I wasn't here when the first person got here, but I know subsequently after that, they all came from a womb. That's all I know for sure. You know what I'm saying? So that's divine. That's divine. That is divine. So yeah, anyway, so that was my dad. So I'm again grateful for him. But we got people, said some stuff. They were a little bit bothered, but because of his ability to detach, because of his ability to still love his parents, this is how he was raised, kept the things that he agreed with, changed the things that he did not. He started a whole different thing for his lineage. And then us, we didn't eat pork. My brother came home from college in 94, told us to stop eating red meat. Okay, so now we don't eat red meat. And then in 97, I gave up chicken. Okay, I don't eat chicken. And then 99, I gave up turkey. Okay, I don't eat turkey. And then 2000 something, it was fish. But then every time I went to Jamaica, I would eat the fish. So I don't know. I haven't been to Jamaica, so I can't say I don't eat fish. I have not been to Jamaica since a legend I don't eat fish. But next time I go, we'll see. So we went straight vegetarian. Then for a while, my brother actually went vegan. So y'all, our children, we got these Black Power African names. Not only are you not going to go to church, but you're going to learn Swahili. You're going to go to African Center School. You're going to be a vegetarian, partly vegan. And so just to see the progression of that into us, into our children. So none of my dad's grandchildren have children yet. So we won't see what that looks like again. But y'all, like I say, a lot of who I am is because of who my father was. And today, like all days, y'all, I'm so grateful. Alan Clinton Haymon. So say again, when you have a love like that, to be so loved, it can never get lost. It can never get lost. So that's it. Peace.